Markets in total melt-up mode here as the S&P is approached and hit 7,400 on the dot here, and what an incredible move it has been this week. Markets completely decoupling from really any major news, macro, or fundamentals at this point here. And markets are just continuing to melt up, specifically led by, you guessed it, semiconductors. There is the SMH. And I'm doing this video Friday afternoon. We're currently sitting up 4.7%. Really no news. We're just in melt-up mode here, and you can see capital inflows right now have just been, and it's just last couple of years really, but really have just gone parabolic. And I've had a lot of, there's a lot of talk on the internet right now about short squeezing and things of that nature. I'm in the camp here that this was a short squeeze a long time ago. We're now into just really deep, long gamma territory, and really we're just seeing emergency stimulus being done. Quite frankly, that's the truth of it. So you can thank Scott Bessent and the White House for this type of a move here. But yeah, I mean, you can see here right now, even intraday, call premiums on SMH are elevated. If we look at the shorts, just the short volume ratio here, it's really not exactly anything to write home about. In fact, there's really not that many shorts in it. So to me, it's just really just it's gamma and fund manager chasing, but really liquidity. If you guys are not day traders or active swing traders like I am, you can see you're not going to really see this on like the daily chart, but like intraday, if we just look at an SPX here, it's we're hardly getting, we get like one day a week where we have a chance to even get a day trade in, for like a dip buy. Every other day, it's been like straight up, right? We're just going straight up. We got one this week, yesterday, and it's very few and far between. And it's very rare for ES to do this. ES is very good at trapping. It likes to trap very often, but I mean, we've had periods here where we're just going straight up here, intraday without any kind of, not even a retest of minor support, right? And that's normal. Every now and then we get a lockout rally. Even we saw a couple of them last year, but for it to go on for this long is it's unprecedented. There's never been a time in 125 years of the market where we've had a 15 and I think now 18% or something like that. I think on NQ rally in what 40 days after a 10% correction, right? We're not talking about 30% correction or 20%. We're talking about 10. So this is unprecedented territory. And you can see here that line on NQ, but what I'm looking at right now on the QQQ, we are hitting, and this is pretty wild, right? So take the April low from last year, draw it up, low, low, low. We broke through it, tried to get back above, and it sold. And now we're kind of hitting that full circle moment here for the NASDAQ, and what an incredible run. We saw a little bit of weakness, and I'm seeing a few minor signs here, maybe some slowing. The breadth has slowed down a little bit. I've heard a lot of talk, people complaining about the breadth, but it was very strong on that run up here, and it has backed off a little bit. Yesterday I saw a little bit of deterioration, and I'm seeing right now, volatility catch a little bit of a bid, and that is something that can happen with when you're making new all-time highs. The VIX does kind of inch up a little bit. These types of things, signal hedges, institutional hedging, they're starting to, prepare for maybe a drop here. I mean, and at this point, it's very hard to, the market's ignoring everything, right? So the strait is open. We get a peace deal news, the market pumps, and then it gets shot down, or a port in Iran gets bombed, and the market doesn't go down, right? So it's ignoring, right? It's all one-sided here. But at this point, I could see, the triple Qs here are 50 points above a 20-day moving average, right? So we could drop 50 points tomorrow, it'd still just be at the 20-day. So at any point here, we could see, a pretty steep mean reversion, but the momentum here is incredible, and I don't think I've seen anything this strong before in my career, and it's a long time. So pretty incredible stuff here. Dow here still kind of grinding higher. It did touch 50K again this week. IGV Cloud Software. It had a nice gap yesterday, clearing the 100 day. So if it can hold that, this can maybe get towards the 100 handle. I know there's a lot of sectors that can play catch up here. I don't know if they're going to do that without the market consolidating a little bit first, but so far the market has we have seen a little bit of a catch up here, not a ton yet, but the key will be when chips top out, memory tops out. If that happens, do other sectors play catch up? My guess is it will, but I think it'll be after some market consolidation. But nonetheless, Dow Transport's testing the 50-day. We got a bounce off of that. TLT also rebounded nicely this week. Had a little bit of a dip yesterday, but came right back. If you look at ZB, the bond futures, that has held up and it had a higher low there. And that's also helped out the market, right? ZT, the 2-year, getting a little bit of a bid. Still, at the lower end than where I think Trump would like it. But, it has come off the lows, and that does help out. We also had jobs this morning. That was a beat. I figured that would be a beat, and they would manufacture a number to get a good number to go into the weekend with. But, home builders have not liked the little rise in rates, though. They have, and you can see here, we just looked at TLT, but I'll look at the 30-year yield. It has come up. This week it's backed off a little bit, but that's put pressure on home builders. And conversely, IYR, so REITs, has held up well, and this is a sector that is a little less sensitive to rates than home builders are, and this is on the verge of a big breakout here, and I do have some IYR personally, just full disclosure here, but I like this setup here on the monthly. Look at this range here, very tight, and it's starting to expand, so I think there's a lot of energy to release here, and there, like I said, I think this is a catch-up area. Financials have come in a little bit. I'm not going to get too worried until I see HYG down, and HYG's holding up. So, additionally, regional banks are holding up well, right? Nothing terrible there. I think a lot of XLF's underperformance is due to Berkshire, honestly, which is at, I think, a 4-year low relative to the S&P 500 right now. So, but yeah, broker dealers here, again, they're holding up pretty well. They're not that far off all-time highs, so I'm not going to make too much noise over the XLF just yet. Credit spreads also appear to be pretty tight too. So, oil backing off this week on Peace Deal News, but it did hold up, and it's holding 95. So we have a tightening range now, and it's pretty wide, but it is tightening. So we'll be keeping an eye on this. Oil has been it's holding the 50-day. It's been in a tight range. We'll see how that goes. I do like XLE here, and I did pick some up this week. I have some good support at 55, and I think this will result in a higher low here. And I do think the energy stocks can hold up into the summer, which is what I was originally kind of predicting here. So XOP as well, that is fractionally higher today, and OIH is, very small dip off the highs. I still think that can get to 500. Dollar index hanging in there, okay. Still trying to hold on to 98. And, again, you hear, it's funny, the narrative, right? The narrative is that de-dollarization, this and that. But, I mean, right now, right, U.S. exports just surged to a record high, 8.2 million barrels per day. So we had the UAE last week opening a swap line, leaving. I mean, it left OPEC, right? That's a big deal. So the dollar, I mean, it's just interesting to me that this narrative is like the dollar is in like this swift decline. It's just simply not true. It just simply isn't. And if it were, then we would be able to do what we're doing here. Scott Bessent would be able to pump the Qs like this. But anyway, gold and silver had pretty good rebounds. Gold had a nice pop the other day. Silver was actually intriguing to me. And I noted this earlier in the week when we had I'm trying to remember exactly where it was. I believe it was, so it was Monday. Okay, so it was Monday. So that would have been right here. So gold, you notice how gold had a ever so slight lower low to last week on Monday, but silver had the higher low, and I said, that's kind of a risk-on signal. And lo and behold, silver popped up through this trend line. So trying to reclaim the 100-day. If you can get above that, it reclaims trend on the daily time frame there. So precious metals having a pretty good week. Platinum still trying to firm up. Still needs a little bit more work there. Palladium backed off yesterday. Still got to clear like 1580. But yeah, they had a good week here. Copper also finally through that 620 level. We'll see if they whack this before the end of the day because they have not wanted copper to get above 620. The last time, I mean, 1, 2, look at how many times they've hit this. But there it is. So copper threatening a breakout here. Speaking of getting whacked, the yen got hit a few more times this week. Look at this. They can't even keep it down. They really just need the Fed to cut. But I don't think this is a problem yet unless this really starts to unwind lower. But, yeah, I mean, like with the amount of leverage here in Q, it certainly could be if that, were to start happening. Bitcoin had a good week as well. That has pushed up. Ethereum's been a little bit of a lagger, but Solana is actually starting to inch up now too. So Sol catching a little bit of a bid. If we can clear 98 or so, that's got some runway to it. But yeah, crypto's even starting to firm up a little bit too. So again, market continuing higher. We'll see if this trend offers any resistance. Nothing has mattered so far, but we'll see. We'll see when that, if and when that does, and we'll be watching for rotation should that happen as well. So, anyways, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Don't forget to come find Jason on Patreon and me on carnivoretrades.com, and we'll see you guys all next week.